WarMind now has been out for about 2 weeks, and I'm here to give my thoughts and opinions about it. What do I think of it so far is it's better than Curse of Osiris. Now, the only reason why I'm saying that is, one, Curse of Osiris was such a short DLC, and there wasn't really anything big put into it outside of the forge weapons and the Infinite Force, which was such a fucking big downer. But some of the cool things that they did add with WarMind is the introducing back of exotic quests, such as the Sleeper Simulant and the Anabray Scout Rifle. I forget what it was called off the top of my head, but you know which one I'm talking about. It's the Nessus Dawn quest that you have to do, the 1 of 5, 2 of 5, that sort of thing. I just can't remember what the name is off the top of my head. But there are a lot of pros and there are a lot of cons to this situation right now because of the controversies with Destiny 2 as a whole, because it just wasn't a good game on launch. It had a good story and everything, but it hasn't been fueling the community with anything new to do outside of the expansions and the raid layer that they added with Curse of Osiris. Now, outside of that, there are some pros and cons to the DLC. I think it's still a recommendation to buy it because, one, you don't need the first DLC to be able to play it, just like it was in Destiny 1, where you didn't have to have the Dark Below to be able to play House of Wolves. But if you end up staying around, I would recommend picking up the Curse of Osiris DLC, mostly because I feel like they're going to do the same thing like they did back in D1. Whenever they come out with the September expansion, they're going to have you require the Curse of Osiris expansion to probably play it in this one. I almost have that guaranteed feeling that's probably going to happen. But that's just my word. That's just my opinion about it so far. But I guess we'll see what happens. Some of the pros of the game so far is they added Masterwork exotic weapons. Now, they didn't add any armor Masterworks yet for exotics, but they're supposed to in the future, so we'll see what happens. But a lot of the weapons did get some really good buffs, such as the Graviton's Lance, the Crimson, the Tractor Cannon, and so on and so forth. And the introduction of bringing back Sleeper Simulant, which is very good. It's not as good as D1's counterpart because it only has 3 rounds in the magazine instead of, well, it has 2 rounds now instead of 3, but it also has the 3 beams that it shoots out, so if you point it at the ground and angle it just right, you can just destroy all the enemies that are right in front of you, which is really good. And the Masterwork for that is going to cut the charge time in half. That's good. That's something unique to an exotic. But the only problem is some of the exotics are still not worth using. By that I mean the chest armor, the leg armor, everything that deals with the armor exotics, they're trash mostly, except for a couple of them, like the D1 armamentarium that they brought back for the Titans, and the one leg armor, Orpheus Rig, I think it is. It allows you to be able to shoot the ground with your tether, and whenever the amount of people that you have tethered, the more it builds back up into your super bar. Kind of like the Obsidian Mind of Hunter Pants. That's pretty much what it is so far, from what I gather from it. The DLC is fine, but there's still the cons. Like, they made the new raid, which I thought would have been really cool, because they have this, spoiler alert, worm god that you have to kill in the expansion, which you end up killing. Why are you doing that for the end story boss? Like, if they did it like, I'd rather have had them do it like they did with Taken King. Oryx was injured, he takes him back to his throne world. Well, he personally takes himself to be able to go to his throne world. He pretty much just offs himself to go to his throne world. But we go there and hunt him down and kill him. I'd rather have had them do that with the worm god here. Like, the worm god got so injured that he retreats, and you have to go underground somewhere and fight off all these hordes of enemies for the raid, and different bosses that he summoned back to go in there and defeat him, like you did with Oryx. I'd rather have had that than them going back to the World Eater raid, because they've done that 3 times now with the new expansion that they included. They did that for the base game, they did it for the second expansion, and now they did it for the WarMind expansion. It's a little redundant now, and it's a little bit more ridiculous than anything. How many times are you going to recycle the same fucking raid layer? That's just my 2 cents about that. You may like the raid, but I'm honestly just now going through the raid for my first time tonight with my friends. But I'll see what happens. I may end up streaming it. You probably won't see this until after I'm done streaming, but if you want, you can take a look at it then. Excuse me. But some of the other pros outside of the Masterworks is the escalation protocols. Now, right now, I'm only good enough to be able to do just the first wave, mostly because there's never anybody around to continue doing it. Most of the time, it's normally me, Darkness, and JJ, or me, Darkness, and Ice, who are on patrol on Mars, and sometimes there's 2-3 other people who are good enough to do the first wave, but not good enough to continue doing it all the way to the second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth raid level. Which is kind of sad, because they have this cool piece of content here, but you can't do it because 1, not high enough light level, 2, the soft cap was too low, and you have to farm the hell out of your milestones just to be able to get up to a certain level to even put some sort of significant damage into the boss. And that's kind of sad. But even then, it's still a cool piece of content. Now, if I had to recommend the DLC out of the 2, definitely buy WarMind. 1, there's exotic masterworks that you can chase after, which I'm already sure they're a part of the base game, so you don't even really have to have the expansion to be able to get the masterworks, because I'm pretty sure that was just a part of the update. But if you want something new to play, I would definitely get WarMind, because 1, there's a lot more content here. You have the escalation protocol where you can get unique pieces of loot every week. You can get the sniper, which is out right now. You could have gotten the submachine gun, which was last week, and you could have gotten the shotgun, which was on week 1, which I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to get it. So, yeah. But if you do end up getting WarMind, I would recommend possibly getting the Curse of Osiris 2, because they say, oh, you don't have to have the other DLC to be able to play this expansion. You can just buy this and be done and over with and all this and that. Okay, that's cool. But the only problem is, whenever the third expansion comes out in September, I feel like they're going to pull the same wool over our eyes again like they did with expansion, back with D1, because I owned the House of Wolves, but I didn't own the Dark Below for D1, and it required both to be able to play Taken King whenever that came out in 2015. So, yeah, it just made it a little bit more redundant. So if you're going to plan on getting the third expansion, definitely pick up Curse of Osiris. It's not a bad expansion if you have it coupled with the WarMind, because you can go up higher if you do your forge weapons a little bit later whenever you're in the higher level and you're past your soft cap. Because, for 1, whenever you get your forge weapons, it'll raise your light level even higher, and it just makes it a little bit better on you. And you get unique weapons to play around with. My favorite would have to be the Saint 14 shotgun you get, and the pulse rifle, the Infinity 8 or whatever. The Infinity Path 8, which is actually pretty good because it has Dragonfly and 32 rounds in a magazine. It's pretty much, if I had to compare it to a weapon, it feels like Praedyth's timepiece from Vault of Glass. That's the only thing I can think of. It has that same look, just different style, just a different paint scheme. That's what it feels like. Fast firing, decent impact, 32 rounds, and the only difference is this has Firefly. So, yeah. Either way, I would definitely recommend picking up the WarMind expansion if you're looking for something new with Destiny 2. It's not bad, it's very fun, and The escalations, I haven't gotten too far with it yet, but hopefully with the soft cap being raised this upcoming Tuesday, the 29th, up to 360 and 365 with mods, it's just going to make it 10 times easier. So yeah, either way, that's it for me for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed the little bit of gameplay in the background. I got this whenever the expansion dropped. I got the gameplay whenever the expansion dropped, and yeah, it was pretty fun because me and Darkness were going through and playing and having a good time because we haven't touched Destiny 2 in about a month or two now. So either way, thank you again so much for watching. Subscribe to stay up to date with the channel. Let me know what you think of the expansion 2, of what you've seen of it outside of the couple of controversies like the Iron Lord emote and everything like that. But either way, just let me know in the comments what you think of the DLC so far. I think it's decent. It's better than the Curse of Osiris. Curse of Osiris could have been a really good DLC, but they just screwed it up, in my opinion. It would have been a really cool concept, a whole new raid with the Vex. That would have been cool. Almost like a new Vault of Glass raid or something. But unfortunately, we didn't get that. But either way, thank you again for watching. Subscribe to stay up to date with the channel. Hit the little bell for notifications whenever I may be going live or whenever I upload a new video, because YouTube sucks with its algorithm, and if you would like to stay up to date, that would be the best way. Either way, thank you again, and I will see you all in the next video.